Good morning, all. My name is Lonnie Groot. I'm the Special Magistrate for Code Enforcement for the City of Cocoa Beach. And with us today is Mr. Michael Bryan, serving as the clerk to the Code Enforcement process, and Ms. Danielle Crawford, who's the Code Enforcement Officer for the city. Are there any other introductions that need to be made with Ms. Crawford?
No, not at this time.
Not at this time, all right. I have no minutes to approve, do I, Mr. Bryan?
No, not.
Okay,
Not.
so there's no need to approve minutes. I'll just go over some brief items. I see some unfamiliar faces here, I think, so I'll just go over the process real quickly. Like I said, I'm the Special Magistrate for Code Enforcement, not a judge, but we are in a quasi-judicial process, which means that there's two sides to this situation. One is the city, the other is the respondent in various cases. The city presents evidence, the respondent presents evidence, and I make a decision. It's that simple. We're in the sunshine. We're open in City Hall. Anybody can come in and watch. We're being broadcast on YouTube. Is that correct?
Yes.
And it's available after the broadcast on YouTube for others to watch. But that being said, this isn't a public hearing, so the only people who talk are those who are sworn as witnesses and either called by the city or called by the respondents. Okay, so every bit of evidence taken today is going to be taken under oath or submitted in documents. And that's the evidence I'll consider at the end of a case before I make a decision. The decision will be announced orally here at this proceeding, case by case, and then sometime within the next few days, a written order will be issued that will detail what was ordered here. That's simple and of a process, okay? Each case will be called individually. Ms. Crawford will either present the case or call witnesses to help her present the case, and then the property owner can testify and call witnesses. And also after the city's witnesses testify, they're subject to being cross-examined, so respondents can ask them questions, but also the city can ask respondents questions after they testify too. Sort of like a court, but not entirely like a court, okay? Yeah. Did I miss anything, Ms. Crawford?
No, I think that's everything.
Okay. I have the agenda before me. I see there was a change in the order in a couple of cases,
yes.
But are any cases to be eliminated from the agenda today?
There are actually. Case number 25-73 has come into compliance.
Good.
And doesn't need to be heard. And then case number 25-46, we are removing from the agenda.
Okay. And that was a Massey hearing.
Yes.
Okay. So the first case today is case number 24-191, which the respondent is Michael D. Lithicum.
Yes.
Okay. So, well, let's do this first. Anybody who's going to testify today, I'd like you to rise, and I will administer the oath. Okay? So if you're going to talk today, then stand up and raise your right hand. Thank you. Mr. Lithicum, can you state your full name first, please?
Michael D. Lithicum.
Yes, ma'am?
Noel Pearson.
Yes, ma'am?
Renee Crawford. Kathy Newman.
Yes, ma'am? Oh, yes, ma'am?
Oh, Danielle Crawford.
Did you meet?
Go ahead.
Renee Crawford.
Okay. Danielle Crawford?
Danielle Crawford.
Yes, ma'am?
Protocol Street.
All right. All right, Mr. Palmer. Do each of you solemnly swear that the testimony about to give in the matters now hearing but the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you very much. All right, Ms. Crawford, you may proceed.
So the first case is DSCE 24-191. The respondent is Michael Lithicum of 185 Bahama Boulevard. Parcel ID and legal description as seen here. On July 23rd, 2024, a courtesy notice was mailed to the respondent for the missing pool enclosure, inoperable boat, and trash and debris on the property. The respondent regularly checked in by phone and worked to clean the property of trash and debris. On November 7th, 2024, a notice of violation was issued to the respondent for the missing pool enclosure and inoperable boat. The respondent's inoperable boat was referred to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, and Officer Specialist Morgan Maslow from FWC opened a case and proceeded with the derelict vessel process. Through this process, the inoperable boat has successfully been removed. On November 18th, 2024, the respondent called for the city a records request to obtain a survey for the fence company that he hired. However, the city didn't have any of his surveys on file. He stated he would pay to have a new survey completed. And then on April 9th, 2025, the respondent was again reminded to obtain a pool enclosure and was reminded that the city did not have any of his surveys on file for the fence company to use. The respondent stated he would pay to have a new survey completed and pull a fence permit right away. On June 3rd, 2025, a notice of hearing was sent to the respondent due to no permit application being submitted for the fence. And no fencing permit has been issued as of today, July 9th, 2025, and the fence remains in non-compliance.
Okay.
Here is an
Just so you'll know,
Yes.
did you want the PowerPoint up here too, or is that where we're gonna show it?
This is
That's
where,
fine,
yeah,
okay.
I'm able to show
And
it.
do you want when you're through with the PowerPoint, you want that introduced into evidence?
I do, thank you.
Okay, you understand that, Mr. Luthicum? The PowerPoint presentation, which we're looking at now, that will be offered into evidence, okay? So this is, you're reviewing it as it's proceeding too, right? Okay. Yes, sir? You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, he's talking.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the PowerPoint presentation that is being presented by the city now, that's going to be introduced into evidence unless you object and you have a good objection. Okay.
So on the PowerPoint is a BCPAO aerial view of the property. It's in a blue rectangle, and you can see in the backyard there is a pool, which is why we are so adamant about getting the fence. This is an image of the inoperable boat, and it has since been removed. This is a photo of the trash and debris, which has also been removed. A closer look at the trash and debris. And then here is an early example of the missing fence on the side of the property. And then a temporary orange fence has been put up to help deter people from entering the property. And that is all the evidence that the city has to present.
I have the packet of evidence too. Did you want that introduced to evidence?
Yes, please.
Okay. Mr. Lithicum, there's documents that are the notices to you and the return receipt, green cards, etc. Do you have any objection to that being introduced into evidence?
Those pictures are really old, it doesn't look like that now. The boat was removed.
Oh, I understand.
Yes.
And
Yep.
the city has stated that the boat was removed, the inoperable boat was removed, and that the trash and debris is no longer an issue.
Yep.
So the issue that we're talking about now is the fence, the pool, fencing the pool.
And all that debris off the fence is all.
Okay, we're going to talk about that in a second. Do you have any questions of Ms. Crawford at this time?
Well, I kind of asked you before, I needed a new survey, I haven't been able to find one. She just told me a few minutes ago, thank you very much, the city can give me some surveyors locally. Two surveyors I was referred to, and one never returned my calls after 10 days, calling every single day.
Well, I've had the same issue with some of my things too, and when they're busy, they're not too attentive. So if the city can give you a list of people? I know they're not recommending any particular person, but they'll give you a list of people to contact.
Yeah,
But that seems to be the issue, is that you need a survey in order to put the enclosure up, the fence company.
excuse me, the fence company cannot do it without a permit. The survey that I got was by a solar company that I did not use, and it does not show. I have a 4-foot overhang around the whole house, and the survey that they did was from the overhang to the property line. That's not correct. It's from the base of the building.
I understand, you need a new survey, no doubt about it.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay,
No problem with that. I've been waiting for a year to get this information.
okay. Do you have any questions of Ms. Crawford besides that one?
No, she's been extremely helpful.
That's good. Okay. All right, Ms. Crawford, do you have anything else to introduce?
Nothing else to introduce, just a staff recommendation.
Okay.
The staff recommendation, based on the testimony and evidence presented at the hearing, staff respectfully requests that the magistrate find the respondent in violation of the notice of violations. Staff further requests that the respondent be given until April 9th, 2025, that's 30 days, to bring the property into compliance. If the respondent fails to achieve compliance by that date, a fine in the amount of $100 for the first day and $50 for every day thereafter be imposed until compliance is confirmed by the code officer.
That's August.
August 9th.
You said April.
I wondered about that. I'm horrible with dates, but, and I've been traveling for a long time, so I'll believe anything about dates right now. So, August 29th, which would be plenty of time to have a is that what we said, August 29th?
August 9th.
August 9th. That'll be plenty of time to get a survey, and a survey done, and get the permit submitted. Permit application submitted. All right, Mr. Lithicum, do you have anything you'd like to present?
Well, that's kind of close for me.
But you want to come up to the microphone?
Really not because I'm semi-handicapped.
Okay, that's fine. I can hear you. Can everybody else? Does it work for the recording?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm retired from Kennedy Space Center, and I have a fixed income, just Social Security, so I don't have a big income. But I was ready to pay for the fence a year and a half ago. The only problem was this survey was told the fence company would not use it.
No, I understand. I totally understand. You need a new survey, and you got to get a hold of a surveyor who will do the work promptly.
I've contacted 2 already with not good results. One never returned my calls. So if the city can maybe give me a list of surveyors that I can maybe contact, I want it done immediately.
All right, well, you'll have until August 9th, unless you think there's a reason that August 9th is unreasonable.
Well, that's kind of soon for me because I was supposed to leave on July 6th for Colorado. And I usually go out there and I have a farm in Alberta, Canada. I go up there and I usually stay a month or 2, get out of the heat.
Well, you know, the pool enclosure issues, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, sir.
The pool enclosure issues, how long has the city been dealing with this?
It's over a year.
Well, and all it takes is one bad day for some event to occur, and then not only is the city really gonna be upset, but you're gonna be really liable too. So if something bad happens, like somebody walks into it or something like that, so.
Yes.
So, I don't hear any reason that August 9th isn't a reasonable period of time, unless you can convince me otherwise.
Well, I have to get a survey first, then I had to recontact this fence company to see if they can still do it. Well, recently, when I first wanted it done, that was back in November of '24. Yes, of '24. And they said they were so busy, they couldn't start or do it till February. So I figured February would come along, they'd have all the paperwork done, get all the permits, and they could put in the fence. But I haven't been able to since they said they couldn't do it because the lack of a good permit, or not permit, survey, I mean. And so I haven't contacted them since because they said they would not do it without a current survey.
I understand.
I don't know if they're gonna be able to get it surveyed and install the fence by August 9th. That's only a month away.
And then, just to clarify, you don't have to have the fence installed by August 9th, but just to have the fence company, submit that permit.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
All right.
rolling.
All right, that's a little different. That gives them another week or two. They said they could do it in 2 or 3 days.
It's not a big job, you can tell that, but it's
No.
just getting to it and having to, and like the city said, it's the application that's significant.
Okay.
Now, the work has to be done, but the application will get you into compliance.
Yes.
And
Okay.
then the
I
next
have no
issue is,
problem with that.
the next issue becomes getting the work done, which will have to be done. So,
Yes, it has to be done,
yes.
and I'm all for it. Just,
Oh.
if I could add just something,
Sure.
that fence, my cousin, which is a master carpenter from North Carolina, came down back in 1970-something. Him and I built the fence on both sides of my yard. On the east side, the same fence was put up, identical, pressure-treated wood, all top-quality wood, and we designed it to where wind could go through in case of a hurricane or storms, things of that nature. That side is perfect. This side fell overnight, and I don't know why.
Sounds like the wood was of different quality to me, anyway.
No, it was top-quality wood,
I
all
don't know.
pressure-treated and everything.
Mystery.
It's like the west side of my house over there. I shouldn't say this, my next-door neighbors on that side have not been the most friendly. And also my dog died just right after that. No, just before that, a couple of weeks before that. And because she was sniffing along the fence in the back, and she died the next day. Like somebody poured something along
Well,
that fence.
I'm gonna interrupt you for the sake that it's not really relevant, but also for your sake, because you may not want to say things publicly about your neighbor that might get around, because they might take offense to that, and who knows what would happen next. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a ruling on this, unless you have anything else to say about the case?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Daniel answered my questions earlier.
All right. In case number DSCE 24-191, the City of Cocoa Beach versus Michael D. Lithicum, I'm going to find that there has been and is currently a violation of Section 3-31 and Section 515.29 of the City Code relating to swimming pool enclosures and pool barrier requirements, and that the respondent will be ordered to come into compliance by having a permit application submitted by August 9th, 2025, and should that not occur, there'll be a penalty of $100 for the first day of violation and $50 per day for each subsequent day of violation. And that'll be the order. So, okay? All right. The next case is case number 25-91. Yes. And the style of this case is the City of Cocoa Beach versus Michael Sirocco.
Yes, Code Enforcement Officer Brooke Oxreader, I'll be presenting this case.
All right, you may proceed.
Yes.
Oh, is Mr. Sirocco here?
No.
Okay, is Mr. Sirocco here? Ms. Crawford, would you mind going out into the lobby and calling for Michael Sirocco? All right. And Ms. Danielle Crawford just went out into the hall and called for Mr. Sirocco. So he has been called 3 times and he's not present apparently, so you may proceed.
Okay. Case number 25-91 is for the address of 300 South Orlando Avenue, units 1 through 6. On April 24th, 2025, a courtesy letter was mailed to the owner for operating 6 separate vacation rentals without the required vacation rental registrations or the vacation rental business tax receipts. On May 13th, 2025, a notice of violation was mailed to the property owner, and on June 6th, a notice of hearing was mailed to the property owner and posted on the property as well as at City Hall. As of today, they have not applied for any of the registrations or BTRs for any of the units. This is the listings on Airbnb for each unit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they are not here. So the staff recommendation is based on the testimony and evidence presented at this hearing. Staff respectfully requests that the magistrate find the respondent in violation of the notice of violation. Staff further requests that the respondent be given until August 9th, 2025 to bring the property into compliance. If the respondent fails to achieve compliance by that date, a fine in the amount of $100 for the first day and $50 every day thereafter until compliance is confirmed by the code officer.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You're charging a violation of section 26.5-21, which is the registration for short-term rentals, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then the separate charge is section 13-2, which is for the paying the occupational license tax.
Correct.
Okay, so you're really asking for 2 separate findings of violation, right?
Yes.
And the section 13.-2, that's limited by chapter 205 to a one-time penalty. So you want that ordered to be for the one-time penalty?
Yes.
And then the other violation, you want to be $100 per day, for the $100 for the first day and $50 per day for each subsequent day?
Yes.
Okay. And now I'm gone brain dead. I think the maximum fine for a violation of not paying the local business tax is $250, plus whatever other statutory penalties are allowed. Not penalties, but additional sums, or it's in the statute. Okay, is that what you want?
Yes.
Okay, and Mr. Sirocco is not here. We've concluded that, he still hasn't come in. Okay, in case number 25-91, I'm going to find that the respondent, Michael Sirocco, is in violation of 2 code sections. The first being section 26.5-21, which requires registration of vacation rentals. And in that case, I'm going to order that the respondent come into compliance by August 9th, 2025 by attaining the proper registration. And should the respondent not do that, a fine of $100 for the first day of violation after that date, and a fine of $50 per day for the subsequent days of violation be imposed. And regarding the violation of section 13-2, which requires payment of the local business tax and the receipt of a local business tax receipt, I'm going to impose the statutory maximum fine of $250 for the one-time violation, plus whatever other costs are allowed by Chapter 205 of the Florida statutes. Is there anything else that the city would like to have heard on that?
No.
All right, that'll be the order. Thank you.
Back to you.
Okay, the next case is case number 24-143, and it is a Massey hearing in which we're here to determine whether or not the property owner attained compliance relative to a violation that was previously found. So,
Yes, sir.
Ms. Crawford, you're handling this case,
Yes.
and is the respondent, is it Kathleen Berman? Kathleen Berman?
Yes.
You're here, okay. Oh, I remember y'all, because you helped your friend before. Okay. You may proceed.
Thank you. So this case is DSCE 24-143. Respondent is Kathleen Berman. Property address 123 Sunset Drive. On May 14th, 2025, the respondent was found in violation of the notice of violation and ordered to correct all violations by June 13th, 2025. These violations included open roof permits, missing required inspections, missing windows, a foundation crack, a deteriorating fence, exposed hanging wires, and a swimming pool in unsanitary condition. On May 2nd, 2025, a building permit was closed as final inspections were completed, and the permit closed, resolving the issue of the open roof permits. On May 6, 2025, the respondent initiated building permit number BP-25-940 to address the missing windows, a foundation crack, deteriorating fence, and exposed hanging wires. On June 18, 2025, the pool was re-inspected by Code Officer Brooke Oxreader, who observed the surface plants removed from the pool. However, the pool remained brown and green in color, and the bottom was not visible from the surface. On June 20th, 2025, the pool was re-inspected by Code Officer Brooke Oxreader, who observed the pool to be blue and very cloudy. The bottom of the pool could not be seen from the surface. On June 27th, 2025, the pool was re-inspected by myself and Brooke, who observed the pool to be dark green in color, and the bottom of the pool was not visible. Respondent's friend showed officers that the bottom of the pool was dredged, cleared of debris, and would be vacuumed, then treated again. This is the posting of the Massey notice. This is an overview of the home from BCPAO. And now the property representatives can speak.
All right.
Sure, I mean.
Okay, you go ahead and go to, how do you fit into the,
I consider Kathy my mom. I've been, she kind of adopted me like 40 years ago, so I help her out.
okay, so you want this, I forgot your name,
Noelle Pearson.
Could you want Noelle to speak for you then? Is that right, Ms.?
Yes.
Okay, I see two heads shaking.
Honestly, this is a long-term relationship with Kathy. We have both known Kathy for many years, and if I could tell you Noelle's story, Kathy is an absolute angel, and at a time in Noelle's life that she needed a friend, Kathy showed up. And from that moment of that first day of meeting, they have bonded, and I think Noelle tells the truth for that. So she speaks from her heart.
Okay.
In all full disclosure, Kathy and I were married for 13 and a half years. We ended up parting, but friendship and love and care doesn't go away
Okay.
with a decree,
As it should be, okay.
so.
So we have, and I presented those to Danielle. We bought a pool pump. We bought a couple of pumps to try to clear that pool out. We're having trouble with the electric and the pool pump being sustained because part of the renovation permit that we pulled is once the windows are installed, we're going to have the electric done. We are diligently trying to get that pool so you can see the bottom. Of course, with the pool pump not being consistent, we didn't want to leave it running at the house alone because, you know, we were in fear of, you know, something electrical happening that, you know, would maybe possibly burn down the house. So we're going out there and we're spending, you know, hours at a time to run the pump while we're there and to try to clear out the water. You know, the pool does need to be resurfaced. And, you know, mostly the priority was to get a roof over her head. We've got the roof done. The windows are installed. We have Mr. Chuck Carpenter is our subcontractor for the windows. The windows have been ordered. We have about two and a half weeks before the windows will be here for installation. And the electrical panel is in the front room or the front house next to a window. So the electrician told me, you know, that it would be needed to be enclosed before he could, you know, really run proper wiring for protection, you know. So, I mean, everything's in progress. I mean, we've done several things like, you know, get the window sills up to code. You know, we had to pull the old windows, get those boarded up. And I have paperwork and invoices if you'd like to see those.
I'll look to whatever you want, but the bottom line is how much more time are you thinking that you
Well,
need?
we got 2.5 more weeks before the windows, or 3, you know, could be up to 3 weeks before the windows are here. Typically, those windows can be, you know, from 5 to 6 weeks out once you order them. Mr. Carpenter, I spoke to him last night, and he said that they should be here in the next 2.5 weeks. So in the 2.5 weeks, once we get that closed up, you know, we can get, you know, the power sustained or power stabilized in that house, so we can run a pump consistently without the concerns of, you know, something shorting out.
And actually, I have one thing I would like to address along with that.
Okay.
Should I do it now or?
Are you finished?
Yeah,
Okay. Go-
I'm
you can
done.
You can come up then, okay.
Okay.
But do you have any questions, Mr. Crawford?
No.
Okay. Go ahead.
Some of what Noel said, I'll address in here, and if I can skip over it as I see it. Kind of wrote it out as a letter. Dear Special Magistrate, City of Cocoa Beach Code Enforcement Department, and the residents of Sunset Drive, Cocoa Beach. It is with a humbled heart we address each of you. We would like very much to enjoy our remaining life in Cocoa Beach, and we'll be living at 123 Sunset Drive as soon as possible. The 2 hurricanes of 2024 totally destroyed Kathy's hospitality business of 10 old Florida-style cottages in Madeira Beach. This property will be bulldozed and is currently up for sale. At this point, we have no habitable home on either side of our state. No one more than we has a vested interest in the rehabilitation of 123 Sunset. When we received the list of what needed to be done for Sunset, it was daunting, but we dug in and began work. Upon receiving the paperwork, the only concern from the beginning was the timeline. We knew we would be addressing everything that needed, but due to supply chain issues, mainly buying the windows, we knew up front we probably couldn't reach that deadline because of the 4 to 6 weeks. The yard is cleared. One last section of fencing is going up. Windows and doors for the entire house are ordered and being fabricated as we speak. Like I said, it was disappointing to hear that it takes that long to get the windows. The house is mostly secured, and as soon as the windows are installed, the house will be completely rewired, and then the walls will receive either sheetrock or wood paneling. And then we have the pool. The pool has been problematic. We're moving forward, but the sand and grit has really been difficult to remove. Although we're advancing, the pool stubbornly will not be resolved within the time allotted. We were there several hours just yesterday, and the work continues. We know we can and will prevail, but we can't meet an arbitrary timeline. We found that out. Finding qualified electricians, stucco concrete people, installers, reliable day workers It's difficult. We had highly recommended, someone was recommended to us, which really helped, hurt us on the windows. Someone, a name given, the person, as much as we, I don't want to say hounded them or called, give us the bid, do this and do that. Yeah. And then on the final day, when Noel said, we need this, he had absolutely nothing. And there we're standing, and this was a trusted name in this community given to us as a person who's done it for many people. I don't know if he was just overwhelmed, but there you're out counting on something, and then they never showed up. That was really the biggest kick in the teeth that we've had. We know time has passed and the repairs aren't accomplished, and for that we apologize. At 83, Kathy just didn't bounce back from the devastating losses of Milton and Helene like she did when she was 43. It's true, age does slow a person down. It's also true that the financial obligations continued for the law business while there was now zero income coming in, as the facility was and remains completely uninhabitable. This took time and financial planning to meet those obligations, which interfered with general cash flow everywhere. Cash flow is now secured. But while we haven't met the timeline, we would like to propose a timeline that we think is actually doable. This timeline achieves two things. It quickly makes 123 Sunset safe until all repairs are completed. It provides a more reasonable, actually doable time frame because of the supply chain things, accomplishing the qualified code-compliant renovations that are needed. Within 10 days, if we could, the entire property would be secured with a lock gate and reestablishing the one last section of the fencing that was removed. Other than that, the entire pool would not be available to the public at all. If somebody went in there, they would actually be climbing fences and crossing things and actually trespassing. The pool would also have a cover on it when it would not be working. Within 90 days, 60 days, 90 days, anything, and preferably as soon as possible, the windows installed as soon as they're developed, as soon as delivered, which hopefully will be within 2.5 to 3 weeks. The house will be rewired and installed new heat and AC units. The majority of the structural and stucco repairs have been completed while the windows were being prepped for installation. But after the window install, tidying up the stucco around the windows and any other identified areas of need that were noted. Anything additional needing to be addressed that I've overlooked will be completed. We're moving down the checklist of what needs doing. We have the required permits and are requesting this additional time to get this completed. At this point, we're moving as fast as product arrival will allow. We want this finished and look forward to moving back into 123 Sunset. Our deepest apologies that this was not addressed in a more timely manner. Sincerely, Kathy, Renee, Noel, anybody that's worked on this project.
Ms. Crawford, do you have any questions regarding that? Okay. So what I heard as a proposal is to revise the order to say that there be no fine, correct?
That will be preferable.
Well, okay. That then within 10 days of the order, you secured the property with a lock.
With what?
We'd secure the property gated with a lock.
Right.
That you would put a pool cover over the pool.
Right.
And then,
Not like when people are there and pumping it, not that, but like when we leave it, nobody.
right, okay.
Yeah.
And then some period of time, which I really didn't get clear, to complete the improvements that are needed in order to reestablish the wiring that is needed to provide the electricity that is needed to pump the pool, which is needed.
Right.
Okay. So what's the city, that's basically what you're asking.
Right.
What does the city say about that?
So I'm gonna read what we had previously discussed, and then I'm gonna refer to my supervisor afterwards to see if there's any additional things we could discuss. So based on the testimony and evidence that the city submitted at this hearing, staff respectfully requests that the magistrate find the respondent in violation of the magistrate's order and impose a fine retroactive to June 20th, 2025 in the amount of $100 for the first day and $50 every day thereafter until compliance is achieved, confirmed by the code officer. And then considering anything else.
Mhm.
Yeah, referring to Brian. This is my supervisor, Brian.
So you oppose that proposal of compliance?
Only based on the evidence that we presented. I'm gonna refer to
I can
Brian.
speak to that.
Okay.
I'm gonna refer.
This was originally, a courtesy notice was sent in June of 2024. We brought this case to you. You found them in violation and gave them till June 13th to come into compliance, which they did to a certain extent. They have permits for all the work that needs to be done. They have a permit that was completed for the roof that had to be done. So really, the only thing that we're looking at is a pool that needs to be cleaned and needs to be secured. They requested another extension, which I gave them to June 20th. We did numerous inspections on the pool, which was still in violation. So at this time, the city cannot support an extension of time. However, the city would support, after the property is brought into compliance, a reduction in this code enforcement lien at that time.
We'll talk about that at a later time, but what I understand this to be, and tell me if I'm wrong, is a public safety issue.
Yes, sir.
That you have to have visibility at the bottom of a pool to see if anybody's down there, particularly children. And that's the problem with, unfortunately, with, tell me if I'm missing the point of the city. But I've been hearing code enforcement cases or doing them since 1985, so I think I got a general idea about swimming pools. The issue is with children, they don't pay attention to gates, locks, and fences. And they find pool coverings enticing sometimes because they think it's cool to get under the pool coverings. And that's probably the issue of the city. Am I misdirected in some way?
No, sir, it's a life safety issue.
And that is the problem. So you're what I also hear the city saying is basically you're not concerned about any of the violence. Since the roof is complete, this wiring and windows is really not something that the city's, you're basically saying they're in compliance.
Well, they have a permit for that,
So
an open permit.
Yeah, you're basically saying they've done all that they need to do to
As
deal
of
with the
this time.
structural issues of the house
As of this day.
as of this date. And so the only issue that remains is the swimming pool. And is there a chemical way to keep a pool clear day after day? I mean, you'd have to do it in Florida. You'd have to do it day after day after day after day. I mean, I live in a condo, and our pool guy comes out every morning, and the water is discolored at the end of each day, and it becomes beautifully clear after they do their magic each morning. That's my technical analysis of what happens.
It would take a lot of chlorine,
To do this,
more than likely. But I'm not a pool expert.
I'm not either. That's
So-
obviously what I just said. So, would that be something that could be done or not?
I would suggest that the respondents get a hold of a pool company and ask them what they needed to do to clear the pool completely so you can see all the way into the pool, just for life safety issues.
What would that resolve the life safety issue? Or is it still an insecure pool? Is it the visibility that's the issue? Or is it a lack of security?
The visibility.
So if you did have somebody come out day after day after day after day and keep the pool clear, then that would resolve that issue, right? Would that be compliance?
For the pool,
Yes.
yes, as long as the pool's clean.
I don't know how much that costs. I don't know what I'm talking about to some extent.
Well,
Whenever I open my mouth about swimming pools, I prove that, but that might be a solution.
well, to some extent, you're right, and I have pictures on my phone where that pool is blue. Now, I can't say that you can see to the bottom, but I mean, you would look from the top and, like, glance and say, oh, yeah, I can't wait to jump into that. I wouldn't jump into that because I know more needs to be done. We now have a big, heavy-duty pump that they are really trying to get the rest of the stuff out. And it's just heavy man work, and we have a fella that's doing it, and he has a team. We are trying to do that, and we put chemicals in. We spent another $200, $300 on chemicals yesterday, which we have done multiple times. So we are trying that on ourselves, but it's not gonna be successful until we can get all the last little bit off the bottom. So right now, that's why we're fighting that uphill battle. But somebody is on that pool almost every day.
And if I could interject, the pool pump, it runs great as long as the power's going. You know, the problem is that we have to get a secure leg of power to the electrical source to that pump. And right now, until the windows are in, I can't get the contractor for the electric to come in and do that.
Let me ask the city this, and once again, I'm asking out of ignorance. If a pool's drained and then covered, does that do anything? No, I didn't think so. Is it still?
No, sir, the pool would pop out of the ground if they drained it.
Oh, that's a good point. I always forget about that. To every reaction, there's an equal and opposite reaction, right? You take the water out and then, yeah.
I guess our thing is, I mean, we can lock it down. We have one part of the fence that came down, and then the whole thing, and I understand, I mean, but you can only be as secure. At a certain point, the law does allow that you've had it locked and you have it closed off as well as you can. We can strive for that. We can strive for
Getting it clear, you know.
I don't think that resolves your code compliance issue. Securing a pool that you can't see the bottom of doesn't take care of it. Am I correct, Ms. Crawford?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and I don't know anything more than what I'm ranting about, but maybe there is a pool company that could take care of it and make it have the clarity that's needed without you paying $300, whatever it, periodically to do it. I don't know. But I can't resolve that today, and the city can't resolve that today, and you can't resolve that today. But
Honestly, we didn't know, but just among ourselves, we've had estimates up to $90,000 on doing the pool. And at which point, we looked at each other and said, why don't we cover it up? I mean,
well,
we don't even know if that's an option, but.
I think the only option would be grouting it. Am I correct? 'Cause in Palm Coast one time, we had a dangerous pool, and we actually, the city went in and grouted it because the property owner wouldn't take care of it. So we just filled it with concrete.
Yeah.
And then we ended up owning the house too, by the way, but that's another question.
I mean, as far as trying to solve this, nothing has been off the table.
Well-
We've really done every.
And I think you just hit the nail on the head, because I think anything that you come to talk to the city about, they'll consider, but I don't know what to do except enter the order that's been asked, because they are right, the city is right about this being a life safety issue, and the city has asked for a reasonable fine, and the city has found that you're in compliance with the non-pool related issues. So, is there anything further you'd like to, anything further from the city?
Anybody want a pool?
We are running the pool pump when we're there. The concern is that if we're not there and there's a short, that's gonna create a fire. So, you know, we don't wanna go there until we get that electric
No,
side.
and it's not even that. Right now, with the consistency of the water, you have to clean a filter out. You can't just let it run. I mean, you'll just burn it out. We're getting crap out of
Yeah.
muck, I guess, silt, I don't know what. And that's why we're renting a $100 a day pump. It's like, I don't know, there's a name for it. I'm gonna say the term like a trash pump, that it's really meant for heavy duty sludge to try to get that remaining stuff. We have a guy that's out there, I would say he's out there 5 or 6 days a week. We probably spent close to $2,000-3,000 in the past couple of weeks just trying to get this stuff up. It's not that we are not trying.
I don't doubt, I mean, no, the city, I don't think's doubting that, do you? Now, whether or not you wanna go to a pool company and let them have the responsibility as opposed to you trying to figure out, that's an issue for y'all, but
Okay.
that's something to consider. But I'm going to find under that we have just held a Massey hearing, and that is a court case that requires local governments to determine if a violation that was ordered to be cured was in fact cured or not cured by a date certain. And I'm going to find that the order relating to the pool was not cured in a timely manner, and that although the fine could have commenced on June 13th,
Yes.
the city has agreed to have it commence on June 20th, and the fine will be $100 per day for the first day of violation and $50 a day for each day thereafter. And that'll be the order that'll be entered, but I also heard the city say that they would, once compliance is attained and expeditiously attained and fully attained and cooperatively attained, I think those will be the three criteria, unless I'm misreading the city, then it will be very open to reducing the fine that has accumulated. That's what I heard being said.
Yes, sir.
So that'll be the order that'll be issued, okay? All right. All right, Ms. Crawford, are there any other cases to come before the special magistrate today?
No, nothing.
Then we are adjourned.